I've missed quite a few films this year that I still want to see and review for the channel. I've missed films like Elemental, But Was Afraid, and even Barbie. And today I'm going to be catching up on 2023 films with the latest release from director and writer Wes Anderson, and that is 2023's
Last train to San Fernando. Last train to San Fernando.
Asteroid City is a film that honestly has 3 to 4 different plot synopses. It's a film that has many layers, to say the least. So here's a basic plot synopsis for you. The film follows a grieving father and his family heading to Asteroid City for the son's Junior Stargazers event, only to have their worldviews changed forever by an unexpected visitor. Oh, and it's also a stage play and also maybe a TV show simultaneously. As I mentioned before, this film is directed by Wes Anderson, who is responsible for films like The Grand Budapest Hotel, The French Dispatch, and also Fantastic Mr. Fox. Side note, The French Dispatch was the only Wes Anderson film that I had seen prior to Asteroid City. As far as the screenplay goes, that was all Wes Anderson, but as far as the story goes, that was Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola, who has worked with Anderson on a handful of his projects in the past. As far as the cast goes, there are almost too many to mention, so I'll just list the main actors and who they're playing, then I'll fire off a list of other names in the film. Starting with the host/narrator, we have Bryan Cranston. As the writer of the stage play for Asteroid City, Conrad Earp, we have Edward Norton. As the true lead of the film / that grieving father I was talking about, Augie Steenbeck, we have Jason Schwartzman. As his brainiac son, Woodrow, we have Jake Ryan. As the grandpa / father-in-law, Stanley Zak, we have Tom Hanks. As the actress, Midge Campbell, we have Scarlett Johansson. And as her gifted daughter, Dinah, we have Grace Edwards. Also amongst the cast, we have actors like Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Maya Hawke, Rupert Friend, Liev Schreiber, Steve Carell, Tony Revolori, Matt Dillon, and a handful of other actors I'll save as a surprise for the people who haven't seen the film yet. Getting into my review, I want to first start by saying this: Wes Anderson films are not for everyone. There are many that love his style of filmmaking and storytelling. There's others that see it as gimmicky and lacking substance. Then there's those who don't completely understand it, but can appreciate and respect it. Which category do I fall under? Well, honestly, I think it's the latter. But after seeing Asteroid City, I think that might be starting to change. Getting into the positives, first one is going to be the writing, specifically with the dialogue. The dialogue is very quick-witted, very deadpan, which is something Wes Anderson is known for in his films.
You didn't say anything.
I meant yes, my mouth didn't speak.
But I also found the dialogue to be incredibly heartfelt and profound, especially when it came to the elements of grief.
In my loneliness, I've learned to give complete and unquestioning faith to the people I love. I don't know if that includes you, but it included my daughter and your 4 children.
But if I'm being honest, the dialogue is not going to be for everyone, especially with the deadpan style of humor. But what may win you over is the performances from the cast, which is my next positive. Similar to his deadpan style of humor, Anderson is also known for using a lot of the same actors throughout many of his projects. This film here actually makes 7 Wes Anderson films for Jason Schwartzman, 5 for Edward Norton and Tilda Swinton, we have 3 for Jake Ryan and Tony Revolori, then we have 2 for Scarlett Johansson, Bryan Cranston, Liev Schreiber, Rupert Friend, and Jeffrey Wright. Which means this is the first Wes Anderson film for people like, Matt Dillon, Grace Edwards, Maya Hawke, Steve Carell, and even Tom Hanks. But as far as every single one of these actors go, even if they don't have that much to do in the film, they still do fantastic in it. As far as standouts go, I think Jake Ryan and Grace Edwards were fantastic as Woodrow and Dinah. I also think Tom Hanks was a great addition as the grandpa / father-in-law. Scarlett Johansson was obviously amazing in the role of Midge Campbell, but the biggest standout by far is Jason Schwartzman as Augie Steenbeck. Jason Schwartzman is an actor I've seen in a handful of other movies and TV shows in the past, but never in a leading role. But after seeing him in the lead role here, I really do want to see him in more leading roles in the future. His character was very blunt, very articulate, very loving, but also very broken. And I think he played all of those sides of the character beautifully, to the point where it might even be one of my favorite performances of the year. So as far as the performances go, I think there will be at least one that you'll enjoy, even if you aren't overly fond of the dialogue or the stories being told. But that leads me to my next positive, which is the story, or stories I should say. Now the main story I enjoyed in the film is the one about the grieving father and his family. That story worked really well for me and made me very emotional throughout. Then there's also the story about the unexpected visitor, which prompts a lockdown, somewhat mirroring events from just a few years ago. I'll talk about the other story elements later, but as for these two right here, these are the two that I really enjoyed from the film. As I said, there are 3 to 4 different plots in the film, and not all of them are going to work, but these two very much do. The next positive is a quick one, but it's the sound design. I watched this movie on Peacock, and I had headphones on, and when somebody was talking on the phone, you could hear the conversation go back and forth between both ears. And it's kind of a small, simple thing, but it's something I appreciated. I thought it was pretty cool. Then the cinematography is another positive, but that's no surprise there because that's yet another thing Wes Anderson is known for, having perfect cinematography, perfect framing, trying to make all his shots very symmetrical, and it looks very visually appealing. But the last positive I have is going to be with the choreography. Now, I'm not sure how much work actually goes into the choreography for these films, but as for this one right here, it seems like they were working really hard, both the actors and the directors and the coordinators and whoever works on that kind of stuff, because every move the actors make in this film feel very planned out, very timed, while also still feeling pretty organic. And it makes the film feel very high energy, very elaborate, very engaging. You never really get distracted with something in the background because the actors are doing enough of the work on screen. It's yet another thing Wes Anderson seems to be known for in his films, and I think it works perfectly here. But now, unfortunately, I have to get into my negatives, and this is where things get a little bit complicated. My biggest and really only negative with this film is that I struggle to find the meaning. The ending had me a little bit confused, and I'm also not sure why Asteroid City had to be a stage play and couldn't just be its own thing. But for others out there, maybe it'll make perfect sense, and I'm just a big dum-dum.
That's just what I'd expect you to say. Dumb people are always blissfully unaware of how dumb they really are.
As far as the family elements go, or anything having to do with Asteroid City really, I was invested enough in that story to still get something out of it, but I gotta be honest, I don't think I got every message the film was trying to send. Now, Asteroid City is available to buy digitally and also streaming on Peacock, which is where I watched it, as I said before. But it's also available in theaters, or at least the one near me, so I'll be ranking it twice. Once under the theatrical film ranking, and another time under the at-home film ranking. As for the theatrical ranking, I'm going to go ahead and give 2023's Asteroid City a discounted ticket. And as for the at-home ranking, I'm going to go ahead and give it a stream it. Now hold on, Wes Anderson fanatics, don't attack me in the comments just yet, let me explain myself. Personally, I would say this film is at least a standard ticket / rent it, but realistically I can't recommend this film to everyone because Wes Anderson films are not for everyone, it has a bit of a niche market. Asteroid City just might end up making my top 10 favorites list at the end of the year, but for a lot of people I know out there, this film is not really going to be for them. But those are just my thoughts on 2023's Asteroid City, and I'd love to see yours down in the comments below. Have you seen the film? What did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? Have you not seen it? Are you planning on watching it in the theater, at home, or not at all? Really, any comments you have for me, I would love to hear from you. I respond to as much as I can. But do me a favor and beam up the like button, drop an asteroid on the subscribe button, and ring the bell for 5 orders of flapjacks and a black coffee.